All right, so next week we have Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou for the heavyweight title. Super excited for this fight. I think this is going to be one of the best heavyweight fights probably in a long time, and it might even be ever. I mean, I think right now the general consensus for the best heavyweight fight of all time was Brock Lesnar versus Cain Velasquez. I don't necessarily think that the skill level was there, especially on Brock's end. So in terms of skill set, I think this is going to be one of the best heavyweight fights in a long time, and definitely, definitely like the most hype fight. You know, the, man, Francis Ngannou, that guy's getting so much hype right now. For good reasons too. You know, it's not definitely not unjustified hype. It is justified, man. So supposedly he has the hardest punch in the world that has been tested so far, and he showed that against Alistair Overeem. I mean, my God, that was one of the most brutal knockouts you will ever see. And I think Ngannou won like KO of the year. Didn't he just get an award like that? I believe so. So man, this is gonna be interesting for many reasons. So one of the big things with this fight is there's a lot of questions about Ngannou. We don't know much about him outside that he hits really hard, he has vicious KO power, and he is super strong, super athletic. Pretty much it. We don't know how his wrestling is. We don't know how his endurance is. We don't know how he deals with adversity. We don't know what kind of heart he has. We don't know this stuff. We don't know how he's going to react when he gets clipped. We don't know how he's going to react, if the going gets tough and this is now in the fourth round. We don't know these things. And that's not to say that that's an issue. Because if you're going out there and you're Mike Tyson everybody and you're just stopping them early, you don't need to show your heart. Like Anthony Johnson, perfect example. He was just wrecking guys super early in all their fights. So he really didn't have to show his heart. Except in the Daniel Cormier fight where the going got tough, then it was like, oh man, you need to show your heart, man. You can't just turn around, and give your neck up like that. But, we'll see. We'll see if he's going to have to exhibit that. But in terms of, breaking down the fight, it seems like the general consensus that I'm hearing amongst, other pro fighters and people on forums and just my own friends is that Stipe cannot stand with Ngannou. And I am shocked by this. I really am. I think people aren't giving Stipe enough credit in the stand-up department. I mean, let's look at his last fights. Like he's stopped really good guys. He stopped Verdum going backwards with a hook. Knocked out Overeem. Knocked out JDS. I mean, in terms of just your resume, essentially your body of work at heavyweight, it doesn't get any more impressive than those names in the way that he stopped all those guys. So I'm so shocked that people are saying like, oh, he better clinch and look to take Ngannou down. I don't think he's gonna do that, and I don't think that's necessarily like, I don't think he has to do that to get the win in this fight. But people are like making it out like he cannot stand with Ngannou, and this would be like a mistake if he does. Now listen, Ngannou hits hard as fuck, right? So it is possible that Ngannou can just, lay a punch right on his jaw and Stipe goes out. I mean, these are heavyweights too, and Ngannou has the hardest punch in the world, allegedly. Or not alleged, whatever. We'll give it to him. He has the hardest punch in the world. Look what he did to Overeem. I mean, that was one of the most brutal knockouts, not just in heavyweight history, but just in the history of the UFC, man. I mean, geez, there's an iconic picture where you just see Overeem's head just snap back. And it was just like the perfect still frame. Like whoever took that picture was just perfect timing on that picture. But yeah, man, but I really think Stipe has the ability to stand up with Ngannou. And listen, Stipe, he might have better punching. He might have better skill. Maybe he doesn't hit as hard, but I think from a technical standpoint, I think his punches are sharper. I think they're, straight down the middle. I think his defense is better. I think the way he carries his hands is safer than Ngannou. You know, in MMA, little punches, they get through. And when they get through, they fuck you up. And Ngannou, he kind of loops with his punches. I'm not going to say that's wrong because, to each their own. If that style works for him, it works for him. And obviously, it's gotten him to this point. So, but I really think Stipe has the ability to stand up with Ngannou. Whether he's going to do that or he's going to have a mixed strategy, perhaps he might stand up, clinch, stand up, clinch, stand up, clinch, and just try to wear Ngannou out and bring him into the later rounds. That's possible too. But yeah, I really think this is one of those fights where it's so hard to say, like, with confidence who you think's going to win, because I certainly can't do that. I certainly would not bet like my house or my car or a lot of money on this fight, because I don't think you can confidently say who's going to win this fight. They're both two animals, and they both have the ability to shut each other off. But for me, when I'm making a prediction for this fight, I'm looking at who's battle tested, who's been in there, who's dealt with adversity, who has a better body of work. And for me, that's Stipe. Now, that's not saying that I don't think Francis could win. I think Francis can win this fight. And for me, like, it's so hard. I'm literally like 60-40. Shit, I might be closer. I might be 55-45. But personally, I feel like Stipe is going to get the job done. With, I just think that his body of work is better. I think he's a smart fighter. I think he is a more technical stand-up fighter. And he hits hard. He's knocked out, the top 3 guys in that division, And he's been at the top. He's dealt with the pressure. He knows what it's like. He's had losses, He's been stopped in the octagon. He's lost to Stefan Struve. He's lost to JDS. So he knows how to bounce back from adversity. He can deal when the going gets tough. Even his last fight with JDS, his foot was all messed up, kept pushing forward, and was like, no, I got to finish him because this, if he keeps kicking this leg, I might not be able to answer the second or third round. So you got to respect, someone like that who has that killer instinct. And I know Ngannou has it too, but like I said, personally, I'm going with Stipe in this fight. I think he's going to get the job done. Now, in terms of who I want to win, I want Ngannou to win. I love Ngannou. I love his story. I think his story is amazing. Homeless. First, let's start. Born in Cameroon, not the wealthiest place. Definitely not, like America that many of us are accustomed to. Then ends up in Paris, France. Homeless, living there. Walks into like a job and just looking for work, and then walks into an MMA gym, and then literally in 6 years is fighting for the world title. You cannot write a better story than that. That is amazing. That's what hard work, dedication gets you, and also really good genetics because the guy's an absolute monster. But yeah, listen, my brain says go with Stipe. I want Ngannou to win. So hopefully this is just going to be a great fight for the fans that we all can enjoy, and a fight that we could talk about for a long time and, look back and be like, man, that fight was so crazy. And just, and maybe we could get a trilogy, shit. That would be awesome to get a heavyweight trilogy. When was the last time you saw that? What was that? Tim Sylvia, Arlovsky? That was probably the last great heavyweight trilogy you saw. Maybe you could get one with Verdum and Kane. That's possible if Kane could get healthy, but whatever. That's not for this video right now, but yeah. So what do you guys think? What are your predictions for this fight? Leave a comment. I'm very curious how you guys see this fight going down. And, I want to know what your guys' keys to victory are for each fighter too. So let me know. Leave a comment. All right, guys, have a great night. I'll see you next time.